Hi, this is Al Williams of Sunset Hill Solutions. In this video, I'll be walking you through the process for creating prompts for your reports and also creating parameters and list of values using Business Objects 4. For this video, we'll be using the AdventureWorks demo project. This was created during the series of videos that were produced for the Information Design tool. The AdventureWorks demo project is based on the AdventureWorks DW database supplied by Microsoft. It's a sample data warehouse that is available through codeplex.com. If you have a look at my video on the Information Design tool, you will see all the information related to the environment that's been set up for this particular demo. So let's get started. For our first example, we're going to create a report and have a prompt that's based directly in the report itself. Let's go ahead and log into BI Launchpad. And we'll go into Documents, and we'll go into Applications, and we'll go into Web Intelligence application. And at this point, we'll create a new report, and we'll select the universe. And we'll be selecting the AdventureWorks demo universe. Select. Our query panel is now displayed, so now we want to pick the objects we want to contain in the report. So let's go to the reseller folder. We'll pick the reseller name. We'll go down to the order date folder and we'll select the calendar year. Next, we want to pick the sales amount, which is a measure. Open up the measures folder and go down to sales amount. Now we want to select the city. So this will be under geography, city, state province name, we'll select that as well. And we'll also select the country in the geography sales territory folder. So this will be sales territory country. Let's just run this query right now and see what kind of results we get. So far so good. We've got some results here. Let's just expand the columns so that we can see all of the text and all the numbers included. I'm just simply double clicking on the column header here so it expands automatically. Now we have, let's just see how many pages of results. We have 19 pages of results here. Let's further refine this report by just selecting sales for 2004. So we'll go back into the data and we'll select the query we've created here and we'll select edit and we'll add a filter here. Let's go into the dimensions and we will select order date and calendar year. And we'll say equal to, and the constant, so 2004. We'll run this query again. Go back into the design mode. So now all of our results are from 2004. I'm going to go ahead and save this report. I'm going to call the report prompt sample. I'm just going to save it to my favorites. Go ahead and save. Alright, let's go ahead and change this label up here that's created automatically by Business Objects. And we'll just change this to say the name of the report. Okay, now it says prompt sample, that's what we want. At this point we're going to create a prompt for the city. So in order to do that, we're going to go into the data and we're going to go into our query and we're going to click on edit. We're going to add another filter here. Right now we have one filter for the calendar year equal to 2004. We want to add a filter for the city. That's under geography, city, and we're going to say city equal to, and we want this to be a prompt. I'm going to change the prompt from enter city to select, and we'll go ahead and run this query. So now I have a list of all of the cities that are available. If I wanted to filter the results, I can go ahead and type in some text here and click on this icon, and I want to select Toronto. Click OK. Now, if I want to see the results that are returned by the query before going back to the design mode, I just double click on the query, and we can see all of the results now are for Toronto. If I go back into design mode, the report itself only has reseller sales for Toronto for 2004, which is what we're looking for. So this is one example of how you can create a prompt at the report level to return the results you're looking for in Business Objects 4. Before we move forward, I just want to explain where the values came from for the prompt that we just added in this report. If I go ahead and refresh this report, and I refresh the values that appear in the list of values here for the prompt, you'll see it's populated by default with a list of values, and we never created a list of values. Where that comes from, if we go back to Information Design Tool, and we go down to Geography and select City, the City object dimension, and we go into Advanced, we'll see List of Values over here in the Advanced tab. Associate list of values, and there's a default list of values that Business Objects creates for every dimension object, and that's a unique value for each of the dimensions that you have in your universe. And you can create filtered list of values, and that's what we're going to do at the business layer or at the data foundation layer. We're going to do that in the next section of this video. So far in this tutorial, we've created a report and we filtered the results by city, and by doing so we use the default list of values associated with the city object that's created by Business Objects. Next, we're going to create a list of values and a prompt at the data foundation level. In order to do that, we click on Parameters and List of Values here on the left hand side, and I'm going to go ahead and create a new list of values based on custom SQL. I'm going to call this American Cities LOV, LOV standing for List of Values, and I've put in a description, list of cities in the United States in this data foundation. I'm going to go ahead and edit the SQL, and I've already got my SQL statement. I'm just going to paste it in here and validate it. The expression is validated. This is good. Click OK. And now I can preview the data that's returned from this query, so I'm getting a list of all the cities and states available in this data foundation. That's exactly what I want. So I'll close this. So now that I have my American Cities list of values, I'm going to create American Cities prompt or parameter up here. So go ahead and create a new parameter. So I'm calling this parameter American Cities parameter, and I just put in description parameter for selecting US cities, and the prompt text I've entered is select the American city. Now at this point I want to associate a list of values. Click on this here and select American Cities list of values, and OK. A couple of other information points on this parameter screen here is you can allow multiple values and keep last value. So allow multiple values, by definition users can pick more than one value when they run the report, and this prompt is included in it. Keep last values, whatever the last value selected will be the one that by default shows up as the selected value for this prompt. One more thing, in the list of values section here there's a checkbox for select only from list, and generally you want to keep this checkbox checked because you want to restrict users. When you create a custom list of values, you generally want to restrict users to only select values from the list that's been associated with this prompt. So we've created a list of values and a parameter in the data foundation. If we now go back into the business layer for this project and we go into parameters and list of values, we'll see now that this American Cities parameter is included in the business layer. It's inherited from the data foundation, the same with the American Cities list of values. So if you have a data foundation and you have multiple universes built over top of that data foundation, It's a good place to put your list of values and your parameters is in your data foundation so that your business layers will automatically inherit those objects. So now that we have these parameters and prompts in our business layer, let's go ahead and publish the business layer to our repository. Click on next and finish. And we want to overwrite the universe that's already there. Okay, the universe published successfully. We'll close this. Now we'll go ahead and we'll go back into BI Launchpad and Web Intelligence. The report that we created earlier, we're just going to save this with a different name. So I'm going to save this as prompt sample data foundation prompt because we're going to use that parameter we created at the data foundation in this report. Go ahead and save. And I'll go ahead and change the report, the text up here as well. I have to go into design mode. So you can see I've changed the report title here to the same as the report name, prompt sample data foundation prompt. So let's go ahead and change the list of values that's available in the city prompt in this report. And the way to do this is we go into the data access tab, we edit the data provider, and this is what we had in here before. It was a built-in list of values that would appear in this prompt, but we want to change the properties of this prompt to be a parameter from the universe, and we'll select American Cities parameter and select OK. Now if I run this query, I'm presented with a list of all the cities in the United States for the city object in the data foundation. And it's sorted by state and then city name. I can further filter this. I type in text down here and click on this icon. So I want Houston, Texas, so that's what I wanted. I can go ahead and select that and run the query. So now our report has results for Houston, Texas based on the list of values and the parameter created at the data foundation. So far in this video, we've created a prompt at the report level, which used the default list of values created by business objects. And then we went ahead and created a list of values and a parameter at the data foundation level, which is inherited by the universe, and we modified our existing report to use that prompt. Now let's say we wanted to have the default list of values filtered only to American cities, so that when a user goes in and creates a report and has a city prompt, only the American cities will show up. I'll show you how we can do that. So we go back into Information Design Tool, and we go back to the business layer, and we go back into our dimensions, geography, city, click on the Advanced tab. So again here, our list of values that's associated with city is the default list of values. I want to change it to be the American cities list of values we created at the data foundation level. I can go ahead and do that by clicking here. It gives me the city and state columns, which is what I want. And okay, so now if a user goes ahead and creates a report and has a prompt on city, they'll only be able to select American cities. Let me go ahead and save this and publish it. There we go. Publish to repository, next, finish, and we want to overwrite. Okay, we're good. Now if we go back into BI Launchpad, we can go into the report we created. Let me just save this data foundation prompt report. The original report we created was prompt sample, and if you recall, this report had the city filter based on the default list of values. If I go ahead and refresh this report now, since we've changed it to use the American cities parameter, we should see that only American cities will show up in the prompt. I want to refresh the values, and yes, So now this is a way you can have your users restricted to the values they can select for certain prompts at the report level. They cannot override this. So again, if I select Houston, and run the query, now we're getting results for just Houston. Now we're going to create a list of values and prompt at the business layer level. So I've got my business layer open. I'm going to go ahead and select parameters and list of values, and we create a new list of values. And we do have the option to base it on custom SQL, which we did at the data foundation level. A static list of values is where you type in individual values that can be selected, or a list of values based on business layer objects. So let's use this one for this example. We're going to call this list of values German cities LOV, description list of German cities and regions, and this will be a list of values based on the query panel. So let's go ahead and edit the query here. What we want to have in here is the geography section. We want the city, state, province name, and we want to filter this based on cities in Germany. So go ahead and click this drop down and pick a list of values and select Germany. Click OK. Let's have a preview of the data by clicking on the refresh button here. So now we have a list of all the cities and regions in Germany. And we'll click OK. And now we have this German cities list of values here. We can see that it's a little bit different in appearance from the other two, which were inherited from the data foundation. This is how you know right away if the list of values was created at the business layer level or the data foundation level. Now we'll create a parameter to use that list of values. So I've called this parameter German city parameter, description parameter for German cities. And we want this to be a prompt to users, and we want the text to be select city in Germany. We want to allow them to select multiple values and keep the last values that were selected when the report was run. As far as the list of values goes, we can associate it in a couple of ways. We can click on this icon and check this option here and select German cities LOV. We can do that, or we can just drag and drop the German cities list of values into here, and that automatically appears there. And we want them to only be able to select from this list, and we're good to go. Okay, in order to save some time, I went ahead and saved my business layer and published the universe to the repository. I've made a copy of the prompt sample report, calling it prompt sample business layer report. Let's go ahead and click on the data access tab, and we'll edit the data provider. And we want the city equal to, and we want to pick the parameter from universe and the German city parameter that we just created at the business layer level. And let's run this query. Okay, so now we see a list of all the cities and the associated regions in Germany. You'll see that Berlin is listed more than twice. That's because it's associated with more than one region in Germany in the database. Well, let's go ahead and pick Berlin Hamburg here and run the query. And now we have a report that has a prompt and a list of values created at the business layer level, and now they're showing in this report that we've just made a change to. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I hope that it provided you with some useful information as far as creating prompts, list of values, parameters, and business objects for. In the near future, I'll be creating another video that shows how to create a cascading list of values. For example, where you select a province or state and then a city based on whatever the first selection was. So this is Al Williams from Sunset Hill Solutions, and thank you once again for watching this video.